I'm sure Lester has a way of greeting wonderful people. So I'm going to ask you to give a great warm welcome and an round of applause to Kwame Dawes.
So it's been good to be here, and I thought, and I'm looking forward to hearing the poems that are in this fantastic anthology. Jean's comments about the value of the book are really, really brilliant and right, and something that we should remember, because one of the challenges that I think we have in this world is to stop ourselves from feeling as if we should have these little boxes that we put things in, but to feel as if we can exploit all the possibilities of retaining the presence of language and the presence of words in the world, and to keep them alive in the world. And so for me, the aim in my life has always been to let poetry be alive in every space and through every mechanism that exists. So that if poems are going to be on the train, if poems are going to be on the street, if poems are going to be in clubs and in bars, if poems are going to be in hospitals, if poems are going to be in schools, if poems are going to be in magazines, newspapers, in books, poems should be everywhere possible. And I really believe that that's important, because the role of poetry is to be immediate in people's experience, but it's also to maintain a legacy of the memory of the imagination of the world. And if we do not find ways to retain that memory of the imagination, we have this bad habit as human beings of thinking that that memory never existed. In other words, we think that people who never had a book published or never had a book in existence did not imagine and did not create. So one of the things I think is beautiful about the idea for this anthology, and I think I'm glad it was done, is that it places these works in at least there's one mechanism that allows people to come back to it. And in 30 years' time or in 50 years' time, somebody may come back and read a poem and go, this is fantastic, somebody at that time wrote this and it means something to me now. And we should be very proud and honored about that moment. It may be that when it's on, it may be that it may be recorded, and in 50 years' time somebody will say, this poem that I'm listening to reminds me that somebody imagined something then, and I can imagine it now. And it keeps our humanity going. So I really believe in the value of poetry, and I believe that this is going to be a great opportunity for us to hear this work. I've done work. I did a workshop yesterday. Quite briefly, I did a workshop with some gentlemen who were fantastic about writing their work in the moment and attempting to make these works happen in the moment. And that's risky when you're doing a workshop for 2 hours, and in that moment you're supposed to create something. And there were just some wonderful poems and wonderful ideas that emerged out of it. But above all, what I found really fascinating was the discussions we had about the importance of using language to express ideas, feelings, and thoughts. The value of that. And if anybody can embrace that and enjoy that, then I think something grand is happening. And then today we had this wonderful workshop with people talking about the very same thing. The last thing I'd like to say, so that we can then hear the stuff that should be heard, is this. I really believe that the poet is not your enemy, but the poet is your friend. And I think I have to say that. And the poet is not. The poet doesn't spend time late at night trying to conceive ways to confuse you and to try and find ways to make you go, what? That's not what the poet is trying to do. The true poet is spending time late at night trying to find ways to reach you, trying to find ways to touch something in you, trying to find ways to make you connect with something that they have seen. And the poet then becomes the person who is carrying the burden of helping you to imagine and feel that which is inside of you, but in a way that makes you see it afresh and see it in new and fresh and interesting ways. And it affirms who you are. It affirms who you see yourself as. And this is what these writers are doing. Even as they reach into themselves, they are also trying to reach out to you and to communicate with you in a powerful way. This is what this whole exercise is about. And if that happens, then something beautiful has taken place. They came with bulldozers and steel horses to build a playpen for the wealthy. They want to build golf courses over my father's grave. Can't they leave me with this little bit of history? Can't they leave me with this little bit of heritage? Well, I killed a cowboy today. I thought they were dead, you know, that old generation of pale faces with their trinkets and their guns and their forked tongues. But I know down there in Oka, I shot one of them boys today. See, I killed a cowboy today. I shot John Wayne. I didn't mean it. What is this world coming to? When a bullet seemed like the only answer, when a gunshot is the only thing that will make them listen, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. But reflexes got the better of me. I'll leave it at that. Okay? So let's enjoy it. Thank you very much.